Hello, everyone. Welcome to Talk English World.
Hi there. We are so happy you are here with us today.
I am Sarah, and this is Mike. We are your English practice friends.
Today is episode 173, and today's topic is a skill that will make you a much better communicator.
Today, we are talking about explaining things simply.
Explaining things simply. This is the art of taking something complicated or unfamiliar and making it easy for anyone to understand.
The best communicators in the world are not the ones who use the most complicated language. They are the ones who can make complex things simple.
Simple and clear explanations show intelligence. They show respect for the listener, and they make you a much more effective speaker.
Whether you are explaining your job to someone new, or describing how something works, or teaching a skill, knowing how to explain simply is incredibly powerful.
Today, we will teach you the tools and phrases for simple, clear explanations. Let's begin. First, let's understand the key principles of explaining things simply.
Principle number 1. Know your audience.
Audience means the person or people you are explaining to. Who are they? What do they already know? What is their background?
When you know your audience, you can choose the right words, the right level of detail, the right examples.
For example, explaining how the internet works to a 5-year-old is completely different than explaining it to a technology professional.
Same topic, completely different explanation.
Principle number 2. Start with the big picture.
Before going into details, tell the listener the overall idea, the main concept, the big picture.
This gives them a mental framework, a container to put all the details into as you explain.
Mental framework means a structure in your mind that helps you organize and understand information.
Principle number 3. Use examples and analogies.
An analogy is a comparison between something unfamiliar and something familiar. It helps people understand new things by connecting them to things they already know.
For example, an analogy for the internet might be, think of the internet like a giant library. Except, instead of books, it has websites, and instead of walking there, you access it from anywhere.
The library is familiar. The internet is new. The analogy connects them.
Principle number 4. Check for understanding as you go.
Do not wait until the end to ask if someone understood. Check in throughout the explanation.
These 4 principles make every explanation clearer, simpler, more effective.
Explaining tool number 1, the definition phrase.
When you introduce a new word or concept, always define it immediately.
The first definition phrase is, basically, it means blank.
Basically, it means blank. Basically signals, I am going to give you the simple version, the core meaning.
Basically, it means blank. Say it. It means blank.
For example, the word bandwidth can be confusing. Basically, it means how much internet speed you have. More bandwidth equals faster internet.
The next definition phrase is, in other words, blank.
In other words, blank. This rephrases what you just said in a simpler or different way.
In other words, blank. Say it. In other words, blank.
For example, the project is behind schedule. In other words, we are late and we need to work faster to catch up.
The next phrase is, simply put, blank.
Simply put, blank. This signals I'm about to give you the simplest version of this.
Simply put, blank. Say it. Simply put, blank.
For example, the investment strategy is complicated. Simply put, you put money in now and it grows over time.
The next phrase is, what that means is blank.
What that means is blank. Very direct. You state the meaning immediately after introducing a term.
What that means is blank. Say it. What that means is blank.
And think of it as blank.
Think of it as blank. This introduces an analogy. You're asking them to imagine this new thing as something familiar.
Think of it as blank. Say it. Think of it as blank.
For example, a computer virus. Think of it as a cold that spreads from computer to computer the same way a real cold spreads from person to person.
Explaining tool number 2, the analogy builder.
Analogies are the most powerful tool for simple explanations. Let's learn how to build them.
The first analogy builder phrase is, it is similar to blank, except blank.
You first identify the similarity, then you identify the difference.
It is similar to blank, except blank. Say it. It is similar to blank, except blank.
For example, email is similar to regular mail, except instead of physical letters, you send digital messages that arrive instantly.
The next analogy builder is, imagine it like blank.
Imagine it like blank. You ask the person to picture something in their mind.
Imagine it like blank. Say it. Imagine it like blank.
For example, imagine your brain like a computer. Your memories are files saved on the hard drive, and your concentration is like the processor. The faster it runs, the more efficiently you can think.
The next is, it works the same way as blank.
It works the same way as blank. Direct and clear comparison.
It works the same way as blank. Say it. It works the same way as blank.
For example, training your body for a marathon works the same way as learning a language. Small, consistent effort every day leads to big results over time.
And the best way to think about it is blank.
The best way to think about it is blank. This introduces your recommended mental model or analogy.
The best way to think about it is blank. Say it. The best way to think about it is blank.
Explaining tool number 3, the step-by-step simplifier.
When explaining a process, break it down into simple steps and signal each step clearly.
The first step signaling phrase is, there are really just a few things to know.
There are really just a few things to know. This reassures the listener. It is not overwhelming, just a few things.
There are really just a few things to know. Say it. There are really just a few things to know.
The next phrase is, the key thing to understand is blank.
The key thing to understand is blank. This highlights the most important concept, the one thing they must grasp.
The key thing to understand is blank. Say it. The key thing to understand is blank.
The next phrase is, once you understand blank, everything else makes sense.
Once you understand blank, everything else makes sense. This motivates the listener. Master this one thing and the rest follows.
Once you understand blank, everything else makes sense. Say it. Once you understand blank, everything else makes sense.
And, does that help clarify things?
Does that help clarify things? Always check in after an explanation. Does that help clarify things? Say it. Does that help clarify things?
Now let's have real conversations showing simple explanations. Listen carefully.
Conversation 1. Explaining a job to someone unfamiliar with it.
So, what do you do for work?
I am a UX designer. Have you heard of that before?
I have heard the term, but I'm not sure exactly what it means.
Okay, so basically, UX stands for user experience. What that means is I focus on making apps and websites easy and enjoyable for people to use.
Oh, interesting. So you design the visual layout.
Partly. Think of it as I am like an architect, but for digital products. An architect designs a building, so it is both beautiful and practical. I do the same thing, but for apps and websites.
Oh, that analogy makes it so much clearer. So you make sure people do not get confused when they're trying to use something.
Exactly. Simply put, my job is to make the path from I want to do something to I did it as smooth and frustration-free as possible.
That sounds really important, especially with how much we use apps these days.
It really is. The key thing to understand is that if someone has to think too hard to use a product, they will just stop using it. My job is to make sure that never happens.
That makes perfect sense. Does that mean you also do a lot of testing?
Yes, we test with real users constantly. It is similar to how a chef tastes the food while cooking, except instead of tasting, we watch people use the product and fix whatever confuses them.
I love that analogy. I feel like I understand UX design so much better now.
That is the goal. Once you understand the core idea, everything else makes sense.
Conversation 2. Explaining a concept to a beginner.
Okay, so you said you want to understand how compound interest works, right?
Yes, I hear people talk about it all the time, but I never really got it.
Okay, so there are really just a few things to know. First, regular interest means you earn money on the amount you put in. Basically, it means if you save $100 and the interest rate is 10%, you earn $10 a year.
Got it. That part makes sense.
Now, compound interest is different. What that means is you earn interest not just on your original amount, but also on the interest you already earned.
Can you give an example?
Of course, imagine it like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it is small, but as it rolls, it picks up more snow. And the bigger it gets, the more snow it picks up. The process feeds itself.
Oh, so the money keeps growing faster and faster.
Exactly. Simply put, your money makes more money, and then that extra money also makes more money, and it just keeps going.
So it is similar to regular interest, except it grows much faster because you're earning interest on interest.
Perfect. That's exactly right. The best way to think about it is the longer you leave the money, the more powerful it becomes. Time is the secret ingredient.
That actually makes so much sense. Does that help clarify things?
That is my question to you. Does it help clarify things?
Absolutely. I feel like I finally understand it. Thank you for explaining it so simply.
Of course. Once you understand the snowball idea, everything else makes sense.
Did you hear all the explanation phrases? Basically, it means, what that means is, in other words, simply put, think of it as, it's similar to blank except blank. Imagine it like, the best way to think about it is, the key thing to understand is, once you understand blank, everything else makes sense. Does that help clarify things?
All used naturally in two completely different explanation situations, a job explanation and a financial concept, both made simple and clear.
Quick review. All simple explanation tools from today.
Definition phrases. Basically, it means blank. In other words, blank. Simply put, blank. What that means is blank. Think of it as blank.
Analogy builder phrases. It is similar to blank except blank. Imagine it like blank. It works the same way as blank. The best way to think about it is blank.
Step-by-step simplifiers. There are really just a few things to know. The key thing to understand is blank. Once you understand blank, everything else makes sense.
Checking phrases. Does that help clarify things? Does that make sense? Do you have any questions so far?
20 explanation phrases, all powerful, all simple, all incredibly effective for explaining anything to anyone.
That is the end of episode 173.
Your homework. Explain your job or your hobby to an imaginary beginner. Use at least 3 explanation phrases from today. Say it out loud.
Basically, it means blank. Think of it as blank. Simply put, blank. Use those 3. Practice explaining something you know well.
Subscribe to Talk English World. Hit the bell icon. Give this video a thumbs up.
Leave a comment and explain something in English using one phrase from today. We would love to read your explanations.
Share this video with someone who wants to communicate more clearly and simply in English.
Until next time, keep practicing, keep smiling, and keep speaking English.
See you in episode 174. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Keep things simple, and you will always be understood. Take care.